The Kindhearted Match Girl. As night fell, the city became even colder and lonelier. Pedestrians hurried along the streets, rushing to their homes to escape the biting cold. For most of the city's residents, it was a time of reuniting with their families, with the warmth of home awaiting them. However, there was one little girl, named Alia, who unfortunately lived in this cold city. Her family was in dire poverty, residing in a rundown shack on the outskirts of town. They lacked sufficient food and warmth. She wore a tattered dress and went barefoot, feeling the pangs of hunger and cold. On this particular day, Alia's father lost his job, and her mother fell seriously ill. Their home had insufficient firewood, and the food was scarce. Alia knew she had to take action to find help, so she decided to venture into the city center to try to sell matches and bring some money home. She carried a small bundle of matches and made her way to the bustling city center. However, the world seemed indifferent to her, with no one willing to stop and buy her matches. Her fingers turned crimson from the cold, and her stomach ached, but she persevered because she knew she couldn't return home empty-handed. As night descended, the city streets grew even colder and more desolate. In that moment, Alia knelt down and lit the very last match. The faint flame illuminated her surroundings, revealing a lonely and elderly woman. Alia felt a surge of warmth in her heart and resolutely decided to give her last match to the elderly woman. She approached the woman, handed her the match, and softly said, "Please take it to keep warm, Grandma. It will make you feel better." The elderly woman accepted the match, and a smile graced her face. She struck the match, and its flame lit up her face, making her appear young and beautiful. Suddenly, a splendid carriage with 8 magnificent horses appeared around the elderly woman. A fairy sat in the carriage, sensing Alia's kindness and generosity. She smiled at Alia and, with a gentle wave of her wand, caused a transformation. In an instant, both Alia and the elderly woman vanished, replaced by a magnificent castle filled with opulent furniture and a lavish dinner. Alia's clothing transformed into something exquisite and warm. She was elegantly dressed and seated at a grand dining table. That evening, she shared a sumptuous feast in the company of the fairy and the elderly woman. The following morning, when she woke up, she found herself back at her home. However, the shack was no longer run down. It had become a beautiful and warm cottage. Her father had found work again, and her mother had recovered. Their family now lived a happy and prosperous life. Alia understood that all of this was the fairy's blessing, and her own kindness and generosity had been the source of it all. From that day on, she pledged to continue spreading goodwill and helping those in need, for she knew that just like the last match lit the warmth, her acts of kindness could also change the world. After that cold winter night, Alia grew stronger and etched that special night into her heart. She passed on her acts of kindness to more people in need, becoming a renowned philanthropist in the city. She organized charity events every year to assist impoverished families and the homeless. Her story spread throughout the city, inspiring more people to care for the underprivileged and lend a helping hand. That cold winter night turned into a legend of kindness and sharing, and every time winter approached, people would perform acts of kindness, remembering Alia's story. Alia's life became filled with happiness and warmth, and her family lived joyful days. She realized that acts of kindness could not only change the lives of others but also enrich one's own soul. With her acts of kindness, she illuminated the city, making it a warmer and better place. This story reminds us not to underestimate the power of small acts of kindness, as they can lead us to greater missions. Kindness and generosity can bring hope to the world, regardless of when and where they are practiced. Let's remember Alia's story and fill our daily lives with kindness to create a brighter future together.